Nevertheless, Salvador Cabri, maybe you know Salvador Cabri, so you see the later pictures. No? It's a very good book, and if you can find some pieces still in English translation from them temporarily, I sincerely recommend to read it. Not because he wanted to really do reggae, but if you get into what he writes about strategy techniques, he was a very good tactician, and he has got a set of also some examples of how to use your opponent's guards against him. Because as you know, the late rater of the late 16th century or beginning of the 17th century was very long. The blade had like 106 centimeters, which is quite a lot. And you can't move just this weapon like they do with the modern ones. Okay, so you have to be careful and precise. Now we will apply something similar to the sword. So if our opponent's situation is the same, we're standing against each other. Okay, and the thing is that our opponent is standing his guard in one row. He doesn't want us to find blind spots. Okay, so he's not reacting to provoking. He's very easily just blocking my attacks. He's not doing counter attacks. So we need to find a different kind of provocation. So now, if he's not reacting to simple steerings, what we will do is that we'll actually make an opening. Okay? Make an opening, but still in the way that will be partially pulling together our opponent. Now, our opponent has got two chances. First one is that he starts pushing against it. If he starts pushing against it, this is Christmas for us. This is like a very nicest present that we can get. But if he doesn't push, and when he's actually trying to evade our blade, this is the very perfect situation for us, because for the time being, we have a free shot that we have to make the use of. Okay? I don't see many people using the right box position too much, because I know that it's not very comfortable with big gloves, etc., etc. This is a very useful position, and it's also very hard to parry if done against a right-hander and you're a left-hander. So it won't be as good against you as against the right-handers. But immediately he does that, we just enter the distance and we make a thrust from inside. Okay? So two situations. If our opponent, we will open our opponent. Okay? Of course, we've done thrusting before. This is a normal standard option. If you want, you can do it, but for the sake of the exercise, we'll do just two things. If our opponent will be going just pushing against us, we'll go just down and make a thrust. Okay? Either you can make the thrust, or either I recommend to do the thrust with both hands, or if you want, you can do it just with one hand. Okay? However, it suits you the best. The other one is that if our opponent actually just awaits our blade, okay, just awaits, just awaits. Okay? So we know that this takes him a lot of time if he's not counter-attacking. So we will use this against him and go into this position. Okay? So I want to say that from my personal experience, a lot of people who tend to stay in the bind and do not cut and are holding this guard, when you push them once and if they go and circle around, they will do it either the second time. Okay? Because they don't want to get into the actual bind. Okay? So they will do it all the time. So for me, if you don't feel that if you don't feel that the timing is right, then don't do it. Okay? So just step in, move, and the easy is here. So I just go and make a sudden thrust. Okay? Wait for it. Just push him the way it goes. If he's just going down, boom, just release your arms. Okay? Good.